Jimmy Hoffa. The name alone evokes images of union halls, backroom deals, and a shadowy underworld. He was a paradox, a man who championed the working class while allegedly rubbing shoulders with mobsters. Born in 1913, Hoffa rose from humble beginnings to become the president of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, one of the most powerful labor unions in America. His charisma and ruthlessness were legendary. He was a skilled negotiator, unafraid to play hardball to secure better wages and working conditions for his members. Hoffa's tactics, however, often attracted controversy. He was accused of corruption, racketeering, and ties to organized crime. His enemies were many, from government officials to rival union leaders. Despite numerous investigations and indictments, Hoffa remained a powerful figure, a symbol of both the triumphs and excesses of the labor movement. By the early 1970s, Hoffa's star had begun to fade. He had served time in prison for jury tampering and fraud. He was eager to reclaim his position at the helm of the Teamsters. This ambition, however, would prove to be his undoing. July 30th, 1975. A sweltering summer day in suburban Detroit. Hoffa, ever punctual, had a lunch meeting at the tumultuous Red Fox restaurant. He was to meet with two reputed mob figures, Anthony Tony Jack Giacalone and Anthony Fat Tony Provenzano. The meeting was intended to smooth over tensions and solidify Hoffa's return to power. Hoffa arrived at the restaurant, but his associates were nowhere to be found. He made a few phone calls, frustration creeping into his voice. Witnesses later recalled seeing Hoffa getting into a maroon Mercury Marquis. It was the last confirmed sighting of the labor leader. He was never seen again. The disappearance sent shockwaves through the nation. The FBI launched a massive investigation, interviewing hundreds of witnesses and pursuing countless leads. Theories abounded, each more outlandish than the last. Had Hoffa been murdered by his mob rivals? Was he buried beneath Giants Stadium? Or had he simply decided to vanish, to escape the pressures of his life? The mystery of Hoffa's disappearance became fertile ground for conspiracy theories. Some whispered that he had been killed on the orders of Provenzano, who allegedly held a grudge against Hoffa. Others pointed fingers at Giacalone, a powerful mob enforcer. The most popular theory, however, centered on the idea that Hoffa had been murdered by the mob and his body disposed of in a particularly gruesome manner. One particularly vivid account came from Frank Sheeran, a mob hitman who claimed to have killed Hoffa on orders from the mafia. According to Sheeran, he drove Hoffa to a house in Detroit, where he shot him execution style. Sheeran's confession, however, was met with skepticism. He had changed his story multiple times, and no physical evidence corroborated his claims. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, the mob theory remains the most plausible explanation for Hoffa's disappearance. The timing, the circumstances, and Hoffa's own history with organized crime all point to a mob hit. However, without a body or a credible eyewitness account, the case remains open, a testament to the enduring power of secrets and the enduring allure of unsolved mysteries. Hoffa's disappearance left a void in the Teamsters Union. The organization, once a symbol of working-class power, was now associated with corruption and violence. The government, sensing weakness, increased its scrutiny of the union, eventually imposing a consent decree that limited its autonomy. Hoffa's family, meanwhile, was left to grapple with the uncertainty of his fate. His wife, Josephine, never gave up hope of finding her husband, spending years chasing down leads and pleading for information. His children, too, were forever marked by his disappearance, their lives overshadowed by the mystery. The disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa marked the end of an era. It signaled a shift in the balance of power between labor unions and organized crime. The once mighty Teamsters, weakened by scandal and internal strife, struggled to maintain their influence. The working class, once inspired by Hoffa's fiery rhetoric, was left disillusioned. Their champion vanished without a trace. Decades later, the mystery of Jimmy Hoffa's disappearance continues to fascinate and intrigue. He remains a cultural icon, his story told and retold in books, films, and television shows. The fascination stems from the enigma that was Hoffa himself. He was a complex and contradictory figure, a ruthless negotiator who fought for the common man, a charismatic leader who consorted with criminals. The search for Hoffa's remains has become something of a macabre pastime. Over the years, countless tips have poured in, leading investigators to excavate backyards, search beneath swimming pools, and even dig up a farm owned by a former mobster. Each search, however, has ended in failure, adding another layer to the legend. Jimmy Hoffa's legacy is as much about his disappearance as it is about his life. He became a symbol of an era, a time when labor unions wielded immense power and organized crime operated with impunity. His Vanishing Act, shrouded in mystery and intrigue, serves as a reminder of the dark side of power, the secrets that lurk beneath the surface of even the most powerful institutions. The story of Jimmy Hoffa is a story that continues to haunt us, a reminder that some mysteries may never be solved.